Hello students, very good morning to all the students. So students, after completing our chapter 4, today I am going to start chapter 5 and the name of the chapter is Plants and Animal in Water. So today we are going to understand about different plants and animals that lives in water. Okay students? So let's start. Habitat is the place where a particular type of animal or plant usually are found. So, students, wherever plants or animals reside, that certain place is known as habitat. Okay. For example, house is a habitat for human being. Okay. So, a particular type of place where different animals or plant reside is known as habitat. Okay. Organisms are categorized according to their habitat. So, different organisms are categorized according to their habitat, okay, according to the place where they reside. So, number 1, you see, some organisms like trees, fern, elephant, camels and human lives on land. So, we all know that trees, fern, elephants, camels and human lives on land. And they are called terrestrial organisms. So all these kind of animals like the camel, human, elephant and organisms like tree, ferns, all this type of organisms are known as terrestrial organisms because they live on land. So anything that lives on land will be terrestrial organism. Number 2, you see, some organisms like water hyacinth, fishes, prawns live in water. So we all know that there are certain plants that live in water. For example, water hyacinth, fishes also lives in water, prawns also lives in water, and as they live in water, they will be called as aquatic organisms. Okay. So number 3, you see, some organisms like the monkeys and squirrel live in tree or its branches. So we all know that monkeys and squirrel lives in tree or its branches. So, as they lives on tree or its branches, they will be called as arboreal organisms. So, animals living in tree or its branches will be called as arboreal organisms. So, I hope it's clear to you. Now, number 4, some organisms like birds, bats and some insects that spend a lot of their time flying in the air are called the aerial organisms. So, organisms like birds, bats and insects, we all know that they spend a lot of their time flying on the air. So, this kind of animal will be called as aerial organisms. Okay. So, basically students, there are 4 different types of organisms categorized according to their habitat. They will be terrestrial organism, aquatic organism, arboreal organisms and aerial organisms. So terrestrial means living on land. Aquatic means lives on water. Arboreal means living in the tree or its branches. And aerial means living in the air. I mean flying in the air. Okay. So I hope it's clear to you till here. In this lesson, we will learn about some aquatic organisms. So students, now we are going to understand about different aquatic organisms. That means organisms that lives on water. Okay. So aquatic plant. Now we are going to understand about aquatic plant. The plant that lives on water. Okay. Plants that live in water are called aquatic plant. So plant living in the water are known as aquatic plant. There are 3 main types of aquatic plant. So basically there are 3 main types of aquatic plant. They are free floating aquatic plant. Number 1, rooted aquatic plant with floating leaves and submerged aquatic plant. Okay students, these are the 3 types of aquatic plants. So number 1, let's start. Free floating aquatic plant. So Some aquatic plants like Wolfia, Pistia and water hyacinth are found floating in ponds and lakes. So students, free floating means by the name only you can understand they will freely float in the water. Okay. And some aquatic plants like Wolfia, Pistia and water hyacinth, they are found floating in the ponds or lake. Okay. So here you can see water hyacinth and Pistia, they are floating in the water. This plant have spongy stem with a large number of air space. The stem of this plant will be very spongy, okay? Because spongy stems will help a large number of air to enter inside, okay? Because they used to have a air space. This kind of stem helps the plant to float on the surface of the water. So, this type of stem, they help the plant to float on the surface of the water. Okay. So, this kind of plants are floating in the water. Okay. They are not submerged. These plants remain in contact with water and air but are not attached to the soil. So, this kind of plant, they will be in contact with water and air. Okay. With water and air but are not attached to the soil. Here you can see in case of Pistia, the root of the Pistia won't be attached to the soil, but they are in contact with the water and upper side they are in contact with the air. So, moving to number 2, rooted aquatic plants with floating leaves. So, rooted means we all know that this kind of plant will have lots of roots with floating leaves. Okay. The roots of the aquatic plants like the water lily and lotus are fixed to the soil. So, giant water lily, here you can see a big water lily and then lotus plant. So, this type of aquatic plant like the water lily and lotus are fixed to the soil. This kind of plant will be fixed to the soil. In case of free floating, they won't be fixed to the soil. This plant have long stalk that helps to keep their leaves floating on the water. So, this kind of plants, they will have a long stalk like this. Okay, long big one. Okay, so this will help them to keep their leaves floating in the water. So, this will help them to keep their leaves floating in the water. This will be the water. Okay, students. Leaves of this plant also have oily surfaces which make them waterproof. So, leaves of this plant also have oily surface. Okay, this kind of plant will have a leaf with oily surfaces. Okay, so this make them waterproof. They are waterproof. Okay. So, now we are moving to the last one, that is submerged aquatic plants. So, submerged means here you can see Hydrilla and Vallisneria are given over here. So, these are aquatic submerged plant. So, certain plants such as Hydrilla and Vallisneria remain submerged in water. So, I already told you this kind of plant remain submerged in water. That means they will be halfly under the water and half upper the water. Such plants have thin, small and ribbon-shaped leaf. So you can see they are thin, they are also small and then ribbon-shaped. Okay, like this. Ribbon-shaped like this, like this. Here you can see already. So these leaves allow water to pass through them easily. So this kind of leaves will help the water to pass through them very easily. Okay, students. So I hope it is clear to you all the 3 types of aquatic plants.